Dragons. There are many species of dragon in the wizarding world, and just as many careers that involve dragons in some way or another. Someone like Charlie Weasley filled their life with the information and care of dragons. Dragons are grand creatures, and they hold many magical abilities. Dragon Heartstring was one of the main wand cores throughout the wizarding world and a favorite of Ollivander. Their hide was made into gloves and other protective gear. And thanks to Professor Dumbledore, there were 12 different uses for dragon's blood. But how many different dragon breeds exist, and where have we seen them throughout the wizarding world? The Antipodean opali, native to New Zealand, these dragons have also been seen along the eastern coast of Australia. Most consider this to be the most beautiful dragon, as they have pearly scales that shimmer as the light hits it. And their eyes are multicolored with no pupil, looking as if it were a gemstone that had been placed in its skull, hence the name of opali. Antipodeans typically prefer sheep rather than humans as their meal choice. And though they were known to be extremely loyal and the least dangerous of the known breeds, it was still best to steer clear of the medium-sized dragon, as it would still protect its territory, even more so if there were eggs present. The light gray eggs are sometimes mistaken for fossils due to their color, though it wasn't often that someone got close enough to see them. The Antipodean opali is not seen within the story of Harry Potter, though it is noted that in the late 70s, a male opali was responsible for a series of kangaroo attacks after he had been forced out by a dominant female. The Chinese fireball is the only species native to Asia and a national treasure because of this. The fireball was easily recognized due to its unique look. Their scales were a brilliant ruby red and the large golden spikes that framed its face. The spikes somewhat resembled a mane, which is how it received the nickname of lion dragon. The fireball also had eyes that protrude from its face, and its blue flame shaped like a mushroom and shot from its nostrils, rather its mouth. The Chinese fireball eggs were a vivid crimson, though they were speckled with gold, leading them to be sought after for the high price they had at market. They are said to be fast and intelligent compared to other dragons, and were much more tolerant of other dragons being in their territory. We got to catch a glimpse of a Chinese fireball during the 1994 school year at Hogwarts during the brief rebirth of the Triwizard Tournament. Victor Crumb, the Durmstrang champion, had been given the Chinese fireball to go against and retrieve the false egg in its care. There are also Chinese fireballs known to be at the Romanian Dragon Sanctuary where Charlie works. The common Welsh green, as the name states, were quite common in the mountainous regions of Wales and have since expanded into northern Scotland and even parts of Ireland. Their scales were a vivid green, matching the vast grassy fields of Great Britain. Their eyes were a bright yellow, almost glowing compared to the green scales. They are known to be one of the calmer species of dragons, preferring to eat sheep over humans. And these dragons were the safest for wizards to view and admire at a distance, though they often avoided human contact altogether. Their eggs are brown with green speckles, allowing it to easily blend with its surroundings to avoid attack from outsiders. The Welsh green had a distinct and somewhat melodic roar that, though loud, would not be the same jarring noise that came from other dragons. In 1932, a rogue Welsh green was stopped from attacking a beach in Devon, England. It just so happened that there was a vacationing wizard family there on holiday. Tilly Toke and her family had taken a holiday to that same beach and were able to stop the dragon attack before anyone was seriously hurt. Once they had subdued the dragon, they cast the largest batch of memory charms that the wizarding world had seen in some time. The common Welsh green was seen again in 1994 during the Triwizard Tournament, where Fleur Delacour was assigned to retrieve a fake egg from the dragon. She had been able to bewitch the large beast to sleep, only for her skirt to catch fire from a snore-like breath of fire from the Welsh green. The Hebridean black, also native to Great Britain, comes from the Hebrides, a group of islands off the west coast of Scotland. It is among the largest dragon breeds, and the breed is far more aggressive than the other dragon that called Britain home, the Welsh green. While its diet mainly consists of deer, the Hebridean black has been known to consume other large mammals as well, including dogs, sheep, and cattle. The Hebridean had dark, rough scales, and spines that ran all the way down its back, and their tails came to a sharp point like an arrow. Their large, wide wings were much like a bat's, with thin skin between the fingers. And its eyes were the most notable feature, a bright, glowing purple. In the early 1800s, the Quidditch team Bankery Bangers, who had adopted the Hebridean Black as their mascot, set out to capture one for the team. The team had let loose 2 bludgers from their match against the Appleby Arrows to help them capture the great beast, only to be intercepted by the Ministry of Magic. The team was forced to disband after their attempt went against the regulations of the Department of Magical Games and Sports, as well as the International Statute of Wizarding Secrecy. The Hungarian Horntail was considered to be the most dangerous breed of dragon in the world, largely due to its aggressive nature and its ability to incinerate targets up to 50 feet away. From the time they hatch, Horntails are fighters, aggressive and ready to take on anything that comes near them, even siblings from the same flight. Horntails have dark black scales with a lizard-like appearance. Its eyes were a bright yellow with pupils in a slit similar to a cat's. The most prominent feature was their large bronze horns and the matching spikes that ran down the creature's tail. The spikes pointed in all directions and proved lethal when a Hungarian Horntail turned its anger towards someone. The Horntail was not picky when it came to food. It would eat anything it could get a hold of, including cattle, sheep, goats, and even humans. The Hungarian Horntail was another dragon that had been brought from the sanctuary in Romania to be a part of the Triwizard Tournament's first task. This one was given to Harry Potter, who was able to help the dragon showcase its most deadly skills. Its hot flame could turn a rock red hot in seconds, and it was an incredibly fast breed of dragon. The dragon that Harry Potter had been paired with was able to keep up with him on a firebolt, the fast broom that had been released and capable of going up to 150 miles per hour. The dragon was also able to keep track of Harry, which was no easy feat as he was a highly skilled seeker. The Norwegian Ridgeback was said to look very similar to the Hungarian Horntail. The most notable difference was the series of sharp ridges down the dragon's back. They also had thicker scales that had a brown hint to them. Ridgebacks were far less hostile than their look-alike breed, but they can be just as dangerous due to their venomous fangs. They are also not very picky with their choices for a meal and have been seen carrying off water mammals from the ocean. Ridgebacks were quick learners and grew quickly. Their young were known to learn how to breathe fire as early as a month old. In 1991, Rubeus Hagrid was given a Norwegian Ridgeback egg from a stranger he met in a pub. To the best of his abilities, he attempted to raise the dragon with the help of 3 students. However, when Ron Weasley was bitten and forced to go to the hospital wing to fight off the venom, Hagrid was forced to give up the dragon he had named Norbert. They were able to get the young dragon to the Romanian Dragon Sanctuary where Charlie Weasley worked and later learned that Norbert would have to more accurately be called Norberta. The Peruvian vipertooth is the smallest and fastest of the known dragon breeds. They only grow to an average of 15 feet, but their small size is what makes their quick speed. The vipertooth, as the name points out, is also venomous. They are a copper-colored brown with black ridge markings along its back, and the vipertooths also had shorter horns than the average dragon. They mainly feed on goats and cattle, but will never turn down a human if it is able to get to one. In the late 19th century, the Peruvian vipertooth population was growing and becoming uncontrollable. The International Confederation of Wizards had to send out a team to exterminate many of the dragons and bring the pack down to a reasonable number to keep themselves and muggles safe from the dragons that would wreak havoc on any village that they came across. During the extermination process, many of the wizards involved contracted dragonpox. Similar to the muggle equivalent of chickenpox, those infected would be covered in itchy spots, but they would also suffer from their skin turning a sickly green color, and when they sneezed, sparks would spark from their nose. The wizards that contracted this potentially fatal disease brought it back to their home countries and caused a widespread issue amongst the wizarding world. The Romanian longhorn is a deep green and stockier dragon. Though it was only a medium-sized dragon compared to the other breeds, it appeared much more muscular and wider set. It was the only dragon whose horns pointed straight out, and it had a third smaller horn just above its nose. Their horn stood in great contrast to the rest of the dragon, a shimmering gold color that added a high price to the desired potion ingredient. The longhorn used these straight horns as a sort of pitchfork, preferring to stab its prey and then cook the meat with its own fire before consuming its meal. The golden horns became a largely desired potion ingredient due to its unique color, and the magizoologists found that the longhorn population was decreasing at an alarming rate. And the dragon breed was put into an intensive breeding program in order to help keep the dragons from becoming extinct. The Swedish short snout had beautiful silver-blue scales that were often sought after for dragon hide gloves or shields. The same pearly-colored scales lined the eggs that the short snout produced. The breed was most known for its brilliant blue flame, a color so perfect that it was a sight to see. Except it was also the most dangerous of fires produced by a dragon. It burned hot enough that it could turn wood, and bone would be reduced to ash in a matter of seconds. Despite the powerful fire, the Swedish short snout had the lowest amount of deaths attributed to it due to it usually inhabiting unpopulated areas. The dragons usually took residence high in the northern Swedish mountains, where very few muggles or wizards lived because of the intense cold. The Swedish short snout was the fourth and final dragon that was used during the Tri-Wizard tournament, being assigned to Cedric de Gory, who distracted the dragon by transfiguring a rock into a dog and successfully retrieved the egg, though he didn't get away without a few burns to his skin from the intense flame. The Ukrainian iron belly got its name from its incredibly large size and its metallic gray color. Its scales were said to be as hard as steel and nearly impossible to penetrate. The iron belly was the largest dragon in the world, averaging 6 tons and having an immense wingspan. The dragon could crush anything that it landed on without having a thought about it. And its red eyes were piercing compared to the color of its scales. Due to their large size, the Ukrainian iron belly is under constant observation of the Ukrainian authorities. The iron belly could cause large amounts of damage with minimal effort, so it was important to keep tabs on the dragons and their whereabouts. This started when an iron belly in 1799 was seen carrying a sailing boat out of the Dead Sea. And because of the dangerous nature of the Ukrainian iron belly, this was the dragon that Gringotts Bank had chosen to use to guard the oldest and deepest vaults within the bank. They had to train the dragon before placing it to guard the vaults so that they would have a way to not be attacked when they approached. This led to noisemakers that would leave the dragon to expect pain when it hears the noise. There are many breeds of dragons throughout the wizarding world, and many wizards sought to understand them and care for them despite their dangerous nature. Thanks to these magizoologists and dragonologists, we know all that we do about these dragons and how to avoid them. Dragons are dangerous creatures and should not be approached without the knowledge and training necessary to care for them. Don't forget to like and subscribe to explore other magical creatures that inhabit the wizarding world, both dangerous and friendly to witches and wizards.